Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a book chat, little book review, book chat, whatever, for The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I ended up giving this one, I was leaning toward a 3.75, but I did go with a full 4 push-unicorns for this. This is science fiction, as you may tell from this cover, with like a spaceship on it. There's a different cover that's so beautiful, and I might end up purchasing this depending on how I feel about the second book. And if I do, I'll buy the other edition, because this cover's like kind of fun. It's very spacey, but the other one's just so pretty. Anyway, so I read Nyxia recently as well, and that is also sci-fi. And I mentioned in that book chat that Nyxia is kind of, I feel, it's good for people who aren't super like into sci-fi or haven't read that much sci-fi. You don't want to just like jump into something like super heavy jargon, I guess. So Nyxia is like a good one for that. This one is a little bit more intense. I have not read a ton of science fiction by any means, so on the spectrum of like super easy, very little jargon to like, wow, really complex, I don't know exactly where this falls in. I felt like it was pretty complex. Just like the space travel explanations, like how they do it, like the sub-layer of space and like all these different things. I don't know how much of it is like actually real. I think it might be kind of like her parents are an aerospace engineer, a rocket scientist, you know, an astrobiology educator. So I feel like she probably has a pretty good understanding of like real, you know, things about space and space travel. But I don't know how much of this book was fictionalized and made up stuff. Obviously, all the different characters and species are made up. Because, yeah, in this book, we're out in space and there are humans, but there are humans that don't live on Earth. There are some that do, but they're kind of like cultish freaks, basically. They're called Gaiists. They try to just live like how cavemen lived. They're really following that paleo diet. And then there are humans that had fled Earth before the collapse, and they like, you know, a lot of them are born in space or born on colonies. And then there's a ton of other different species that are just like super alien, you know, like lizard, feather, bird type people, like gooey glob, like, yeah, and just a ton of different species. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that aspect. I did feel like even though a lot of this I felt for me was very in-depth and very, like, pretty heavy on the space jargon, I felt like it was explained very well. Like, so the world building, I guess, was, I thought, really well done. I got very immersed in this world. I had a pretty good understanding of it, I think. I didn't feel confused or anything. There were certain things about like the space travel and whatnot that I kind of just accepted that it was over my head and it didn't bother me that much, because I was like, I feel like I'm not getting this. Like my brain isn't like trained to understand this. But it didn't bother me. I didn't feel like it was the author's like fault that I wasn't understanding certain things. I just, like I said, it was like my brain just doesn't go there. I've never had that thought process, so maybe with time, maybe with more sci-fi reading. I loved the characters. I thought the characters were very well-rounded. I got a really good picture of who they all were and who they were to each other, their bonds and everything. I was leaning toward a 3.75 instead of a 4, simply because I liked the characters, but I don't necessarily feel, sorry, my neck itches. I don't really feel like I got like super invested. And you guys have probably heard me say this like a million friggin' times, because for me, that's what would make a book like 5 stars, is if I am like immersed in these characters and like, holy crap, I care so much what happens to these characters. And here I cared, but I don't know how much, because I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, there was a particular character that something unfortunate happened to, and I was a little upset. I get that, and that's why I ended up saying no 4, because then I was thinking about it. I'm like, no, I did care. It just was like nothing super dramatic. happened, but I think that if something had, I would have cared a lot. I'm very anxious to read the next book to see if it kind of ramps up the emotional impact for me. I felt like it was really diverse. Obviously, there's a lot of made-up species, but it's a whole kind of, I felt like it was a conversation on, like race relations, basically. Because while, they're different races. They're literally different races, whereas humans are not, but, whatever. And their differences, and some of them working together, some of them not being able to work together, some of them being speciest, aka in our understanding of it, racist, like not liking a certain species, certain groups of these species, like don't want them to intercouple or intermarry or, whatever, with other species. So they're like really strict and traditional, conservative, while others don't care and it's fine. So yeah, it was really interesting, and I thought that was really well done too. Definitely recommend this if sci-fi might be your jam. If you haven't read it already, I feel like most people have. And yeah, I can't wait to read the next one, and I can't remember what it's called. A Close and Common Orbit. Yeah, that's the one. I'm excited to read that. I'm hoping to get to that by the end of the year. I don't know. Flinging this freaking book around all the time. Not going to get into any like spoilery stuff here. Kind of just for time's sake, because I'm trying to record a bunch of videos today. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, I really appreciate your time. Let me know if you read this already. I know some of you have, because you've commented when I mentioned I was going to be reading this. Let me know what your thoughts are. And if anyone has read it and maybe didn't love it, hi, baby. Come here, baby. Come on. Lily. Okay, bye for real. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.